I was always like a never give up type of person, but in reality, I just didn't know when to quit. Because say that, basketball, as I played basketball, my coach on my JV, on JV, it was like that. JV, I could do whatever the freak I wanted to do because yes, I was the best player. But when it came to varsity, bro, varsity coaches already have their favorites. And then, my coach just never made me feel like I was a part of the team. I never felt like I was really a part of the team. I always felt like I was in practice there to get picked on sometimes by my coach, and she would never like actually help me progress. I was just there like for a punching bag. And I just didn't know where I was valued. I didn't know when to quit because I just thought that, oh, but ball is life. I play basketball. I love basketball. I grew up playing basketball, grew up watching basketball. So I thought, just stay on the basketball team till I graduate high school. No, I should have quit after my junior year when it was like, okay, so after JV final season, then you have to be on varsity all the time. I should have quit right then. I should have quit because I wasn't like fulfilled. It was just like I was going through the motions like practice. I should have just quit and stayed in band because in band I actually felt like I was a part of the group. I actually felt like I was progressing. My band director didn't never made me feel like I was he never made me feel like I was a burden on the group. I always loved to be in practice. Like even though I was like holding myself back sometimes by not doing certain auditions for certain things or not going to like all state or whatever for like the top high school players. I never really auditioned for stuff like that. And my band director did say that I was kind of like holding myself back in a way, but I didn't really want to do it because, I didn't really feel comfortable being around like the top other high school players because band was like a hobby that I loved and I did not want the competition to F that up for me like basketball did. And so by me, fuck, my nose is so itchy. But my perspective really changed about, giving up and all that was when I watched Attack on Titan. Sorry for the glaze. Attack on Titan glaze. Because yes, the soldiers in Attack on Titan, they didn't know how to give up. They didn't know when to quit. But also, there was like a family in a way. They always, helped each other. There was always, progressing. Like, it wasn't just they was there. Like they just kept getting their ass beat by these titans and nothing was happening. No, they would get their ass beat, they would come back together as a group and then recollect and then, find another tactic. And that's what it's all about, progression. Even though it may be short, even though it may not look like it, still progress. And I didn't really look towards progression when I was in basketball. Yes, I did when I was, playing at the parks and stuff. I would try to progress when I would play street ball with friends. But when it came to playing like actual basketball, like organized basketball with a school, I didn't really see progression because I never really felt comfortable because I just felt like, I wasn't wanted there in the first place. So that's the first thing. We have to go where we're wanted and go where we're appreciated. And I really learned that because, yeah, growing up, I didn't really go where I was wanted. I went where I wanted to fit in. And I went where I saw that, that would look good for me to fit in. And I'll go there. But it's not always the best place to go. Go where you're wanted. And then we can actually progress, because if you go where you're wanted, people are going to want to see you do good in life. People are going to want to see you do great. But if you just go where you want to be at and nobody really wants you there, they're going to make you feel like, what the freak are you doing here? Who are you? And that Attack on Titan really showed me that, because even though they was getting a tail beat, that was where they wanted to be at, and they was valued because, you know, they could kill titans. And so they had humanity on their backs, basically. So they had to be the ones to help rewrite history. If it wasn't going to be them, then who it was going to be? And just like me, for my family, for my future, if it's not me that's going to save me, who else the freak is going to be? So I have to go where I'm wanted. And I want myself. Was that a pause moment? Well, I love myself, so I'm gonna be with myself. I'm gonna keep doing what I love to do. And I like to do YouTube, and I still like to play basketball, but I haven't really played like an actual pickup game of basketball or something like that, or organized basketball. I just play around with it. And I don't play music anymore because I don't have a clarinet and I don't have a new instrument to pick up on. So as part as musically, I'm not really doing anything musically right now. But you never know. It may be a possibility that I might try to make beats. I did used to make beats for fun. I might try to make beats again. I might try to, you never know what the freak might happen, because I'm going to go where I'm wanted. I'm going to go where I feel valued. I'm going to go where I'm meant to be at. Wherever my soul calls for me to go, that's where I'm going to go. And I'm not going nowhere that I do not feel wanted anymore. Like, we wasting time by doing that. So Attack on Titan really showed me how, you know, if you don't give up in stuff that you're passionate about, if you don't give up in something that you actually, see that you can change, or something that you really value or inspired about. Like for them, it was like, for Aaron Yeager, he wanted to kill all the Titans. But in the end, he did in a way, but not the way he would expect it to do it. And that's about me. Like, what the freak I want to do? I just want to make sure my mom lives a great rest of her life. I don't know exactly what the freak, how it's going to happen, but I know by me keep going with YouTube, like I'm going with YouTube, and just doing whatever the freak is going to happen. So I feel like YouTube is where I'm valued and where I'm wanted, because even though it hasn't picked up yet, you never freaking know, bro. So all we got to do is keep going. I don't know what else to say. So,